Hey folks, how you doing? So I've gone out and bought myself another Spectrum because apparently you can never have too many of them. So yeah, I think this is Spectrum number 17 now. I bought it a while ago and it's been kind of hanging around, and this is really the first opportunity I've had to, well, first opportunity for a while to do any sort of retro, but certainly the first chance I've had to look at this. And I've powered it up, and yeah, it's green. It's very green, the picture. So, either Sinclair were developing a computer as a tribute to the Dragon 32, which I think is very unlikely, or there's something going on. I mean, yeah, clearly there's a picture fault with it. So I thought we'd dig into it and we'd have a look, and we'll see if we can correct the issue. Well, let's get stuck in. I suspect this is going to be an issue 2 Spectrum because they have some manual settings for the colour balance. Issue 1s, I believe, have the same function. It's very unlikely that this will be an issue 1. I would imagine they're a bit like hen's teeth. From the issue 3 onwards, it was all done automatically, but yeah. I suspect we've got an issue 2, and this is going to be a relatively simple fix. Well, let's get inside and let's have a look. Screws are a bit rusty. Never a good sign. Not coming out either. Okay, that doesn't want to open. Why not? Oh, there it goes. Yeah, all the screws are rusty. I'm just wondering if this thing's been wet at some point. I mean, it must have been. So, let's see what we've got. And yep, straight away it's an issue 2. I can see it right there. Let's get the keyboard membrane out the way and have a proper look. So if I'm lucky, this will come out in one piece. Seems to. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so with the issue 2 and I believe the issue 1, although I've never really seen an issue 1, you do have these little potentiometers, these little trim pots here, and they control the colour balance, and they can go out of whack over time and cause... usually the screen will go yellow. I've never seen a green one before. But usually tweaking these potentiometers here, you can bring the colour back into spec. Like I said, from issue 3 onwards, it's not an issue because there's a circuit was redesigned and it automatically compensates, so you don't have these trim pots anymore. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the first thing I'm going to try. It could be that there's a faulty video chip. That is a possibility, and it could also be that the caps are bad as well. Given that this is a Spectrum and it's running the original caps, the caps are probably bad anyway, so I'll probably change them as a matter of course. But right now, let's just power it up and let's just set these pots. Now, a couple of different ways of doing it. You can hook up a oscilloscope and adjust these, and effectively what you're looking for is the cleanest signal, the least interference, and apparently that's a really quick and easy way of doing it. It never seems to work well for me doing it that way though, so I tend to just plug it into a TV, power it up and twiddle until something looks right on the screen. Minute adjustments until we get the picture back. Hopefully that's all it needs, but if it's got any other problems then we'll dig into that as well. Anyway, let's plug it back in. Let's get twiddling and see what we can do. Okay, so I've taken the cover off and I've powered it back up, and it seems to be... I don't know how well it's going to come out on the camera, but it seems to be flashing between green and yellow, and I've not even made any changes yet. But let's start twiddling, shall we? So let's start with the lower trim pot, and let's just give it a little tweak. See if that makes any difference. Picture's stabilised, but we're still green, so let's try the top one. And I'm just making tiny little movements. No. Oh. Oh, that's something. Just alternating between the two trim pots to see if I can improve this picture at all. Doesn't seem to be doing a lot, so we may have a bigger issue. Could be cap related, it could be the video chip. I have spares, so we can try that next. I'm going to twiddle for a bit, and I'll bring you back if I have any joy, and if not, I think we'll go for a capacitor change and see if that makes a difference. Okay, I've been playing about with that for quite a while, and yeah, no joy. Okay, so it's not the simple fix I thought or hoped it was going to be. It could be a problem with the modulator, but I doubt it. But just in case, let's bypass that now. Let's just do a quick composite mod. And let's just see if that makes any difference at all. Quick and dirty composite mod. I've just bypassed the modulator altogether, and I'm just driving the composite signal that comes out of the computer through a 100 microfarad capacitor straight to the output, and that's all I'm doing. So let's see if that makes any difference whatsoever, although I doubt it. Nope, we still have a green picture, although it seems to be a bit more of a stable green picture. I suppose I can play about with these pots a little bit more, and oh no, that is different. Okay, maybe. Oh, okay, I'm going to twiddle for a little bit and I'll bring you back if I have any joy. But that looks a bit better, actually. These pots are actually doing something, whereas before they didn't seem to have any effect whatsoever on the picture. So let's just have a play. Now, would you believe it? With a little bit of patience, I have managed to tweak the pots and I've now got a white screen. So, I mean, the caps are probably not good on it, but no, it was just out of calibration. So, yeah, that took me about 5 minutes of playing about, and it looks okay. Let me reattach a keyboard, and let's just cycle through some colours. So, well, that's, I don't know if this membrane is going to be any good. Usually once you've disconnected them, that's the end of it, but let's just see if I can get anything out of it. In fact, bear with me. Let me just go and cut the tails off. See if I can get any use out of this membrane. Right, after much faffing about and cutting the tails off the membrane, I think this will work now. So, yeah, colour seems to be changing as it should. Keyboard's now working as well. Excellent. So that was the only problem with it. It was out of calibration. Very, very common on the issue 2s. I imagine with the issue 1s are the same. Again, I've not used one before, so who knows. But I think they have the same system. Excellent. So there's nothing actually wrong with this computer, so I can throw some money into it at some point. I'll recap it. I will have to fit a new membrane to it as well. This one's failing. Do all the usual, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That was one green spectrum, which has now shown its correct colours. And it is literally just having a little bit of patience and playing about with those trim pots. This is another issue 2 spectrum. In fact, it's one I did a video on, probably over a year ago now, actually. I picked it up. It was advertised as new and unused, and that actually wasn't the case. But it is in incredibly good condition. But if you look at the screen, now at the moment, it's showing a nice crisp white picture. But that most certainly is not always the case with this machine. As it warms up, unless you start playing games on it, you do start getting picture issues, and it happens all the time. And again, it's those trim pots that are going out of adjustment. But I think the pots themselves are a little bit faulty, because the slightest knock or movement, or like I said, when it warms up, the picture will start playing up on this. Oh, my camera's going out of focus. Ignore that. That's not the computer. That is my camera. Sorry about that. I'll just lock that off. Yeah. So I can see see if I can make it do it. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. I point the camera at it, and of course it makes a liar out of me, but honestly it does have a fault. Do you know what? I had murder with this yesterday, and today it's working fine, but I can guarantee you as it warms up, I get a similar picture fault. It basically makes the computer unusable. So, what I'm proposing to do is to replace the trim pots altogether because they are a little bit sensitive on this machine. And I've bought some new ones. So, I'm going to try fitting these and see if it makes any difference to the stability of the picture. You're just going to have to trust me that I have murder with this machine. Honestly, it's been absolutely terrible lately. The second I point a camera at it, it's behaving itself, but honestly it's all over the place normally. Anyway, let's crack it open, let's get the soldering iron on, and let's change out these trim pots and see if we get a nice stable picture. Right, I've cracked it open and I'm just going to see if I can replicate the fault. Honestly, this thing's making a liar out of me, isn't it? I'm not going to turn the potentiometers at all. I'm just going to use something non-conductive, and I'll just give them a little tap, because that's usually all it takes to knock these out of whack. Yeah, there we go, the slightest touch, and we're getting this. And it's not like you can leave them alone and get them set right and you'll have a perfectly steady picture. You won't. Like I said, as this machine warms up, this goes out of whack. In fact, it can be very, very difficult to set as well. In fact, I'm having trouble getting it back. Oh, there we go. Yeah. It makes the machine unusable. You can be playing a game for 10 minutes and then suddenly the picture will go completely ridiculous on you. So yeah, let's get the soldering iron out. Let's buzz out these trim pots and let's get some new ones in. To be honest, I just want to see if these new ones are any good as well. They're the same value. The old ones have got 2.2k stamped on them, so I've bought new pots of the same value. Let's just see if they work. Let's get these old trim pots out. Well, they're in, so let me put power to it and we'll get these adjusted in and hopefully we'll have a nice clear picture. Well, that's the theory anyway. Well, it's all back together and yeah, that, if my camera will focus, you'll have to take my word for it, but that is by far the crispest, cleanest picture I've ever had from an Issue 2 Spectrum. It's really looking good. It's completely stable. It took me seconds to adjust everything in. It was very smooth, the adjustments, whereas with these things that I've removed, they must have been a bit scratchy, so you so much as touched them to adjust them and the picture would start bouncing all over the place. With these new trim pots, you could see the picture improve, degrade as you moved about. You knew exactly where you needed to turn each pot to. It was very, very obvious. It was very intuitive. It took me seconds to calibrate it, and the picture is holding perfectly steady. You're just going to have to take me word for it that that wasn't the case with this machine beforehand. I've had murder with it. I've had absolute hell trying to get a stable picture out of it, and the minute I point a camera at it, because I thought, oh, this will be a really good example of exactly what I'm talking about, it makes a liar out of me. But honestly, I've had murder with this machine, and those new trim pots, they're working beautifully. So I think what I'll do is I'll put it on a bit of a soak test. I'll load a game up, I'll let it run for a bit, let it really warm up, and hopefully the picture will stay stable, but we'll test that out. I've had it running for about an hour now, and yeah, everything seems nice and stable. The picture's been fine, and it never was on this machine. It was always a little twitchy. So I'm guessing just with age, those original trim pots, they're not up to the job anymore. Once I changed them out, the new ones, they were so much easier to adjust. So there you go, two issue 2 Spectrums, both with similar faults. You'll just have to take my word for it that this one had the fault. Honest to God it did, and the minute I point a camera at it, it starts behaving itself, but whatever. Yeah, if you've got picture issues or colour issues, try adjusting those trim pots. If that's not working, do what I did and replace the trim pots. Honestly, the picture quality has significantly improved for doing that. Failing that, things like a recap can always help as well, so yeah. Anywho, I hope that was helpful to somebody. Thank you for watching if you got this far, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye.